How many times have you felt that you're not the man you should be? How many mornings do you wake up, look in the mirror and realize you're far from what you promised yourself? There is a silent pain, that sensation of sinking, even while doing everything right, as if deep inside something is always missing. Direction, strength, discipline, true courage. Have you ever stopped to ask yourself where this emptiness comes from? If you feel alone in this struggle, know that thousands carry this weight every day, trying to hide the truth even from themselves. Be honest. Have you lost your own respect? Are you living the life you really wanted, or did you settle for just surviving? Today's male suffering doesn't scream. It settles in slowly while you trade dreams for distractions, procrastinate important decisions, and set aside leadership. Perhaps no one around you notices, but only you know how much it hurts to feel stuck, failing in silence, losing connection with your own purpose. For samurais, facing this pain was the first step of transformation. What you may not know is that there is an ancestral force capable of rebuilding you from the inside out, and it comes from Japanese philosophy. Yes, Japanese philosophy was never about ready-made formulas, but about an unshakable code of honor. Imagine building discipline not from guilt or pressure, but from a deep awareness of your own worth. For them, discipline was the shield that separated the ordinary man from the warrior, and it was this code that forged leaders, heroes, and men who never accepted living on autopilot. Stay with me until the end, because what you're going to discover today might change your vision about self-control, mental strength, and overcoming. Perhaps you've already tried everything, methods, routines, books, motivational videos, but you always end up in the same cycle of quitting, self-sabotage, or feeling powerless. It's not a lack of ability, it's the absence of that internal foundation, the invisible code of the samurais which transformed entire generations and can transform your routine, your body, your mind. Have you been through this? Felt your self-respect slip through your fingers day after day until doubt becomes routine? In this video, we'll decipher together how Japanese principles can rescue the strength and sense of direction that you believe you've lost. But before we continue, reflect. Are you really living the life you wanted, or just running away from it? Don't fool yourself, that answer will require courage. And this is just the beginning, because from here on, the rebuilding begins. Pay attention. The next step could be the most important of your journey. Perhaps right now, as you listen to each word, there's a part of you hesitating to admit, but also thirsty to find answers and inner strength. Feeling this pain doesn't make you weak. On the contrary, it's the first step to break this cycle and start rebuilding your discipline through a truly authentic path. While samurais found power in brutal honesty about their own suffering, you can find your turning point now. Japanese philosophy doesn't ask you for perfection, but demands courage to face the truth and will to rescue what seems to be left behind. It's about rebuilding each part of your inner code, using suffering as fuel to be reborn. I want you to share a little of this process. If any part of this video is moving you, whether a memory, a feeling, or a desire to change, leave here in the comments what has touched you most so far. Your participation is what brings life to this channel, grows our community, and encourages others to find strength, discipline, and self-respect. When you like the video, you're showing that this content makes sense to you, that you want to see more stories, techniques, and principles that truly transform. And if you haven't subscribed yet, know that each time someone joins this journey, the reach of this message grows, and more men can find answers that make all the difference. Don't think that commenting, liking, or subscribing is just a mechanical gesture. It's your voice helping to build a network of support, inspiration, and real change. Your experience can inspire whoever is in the same struggle, and I really want to know what you feel about all of this. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, we're going to deepen the method and finally uncover how to apply the ancestral principles of the samurais in every choice of your life. Accountability, turning the internal key. How many times do we seek justifications to continue in the same patterns? It's easy to blame the world around us, the work that consumes us, family obligations, the routine that never relents. But the hidden truth, the one few have the courage to face, is that there's a thin line between explaining and hiding. True transformation begins the instant we stop pointing outward and have the honesty to look inward. You know that weight that grows in your chest, That silent demand that doesn't leave even when everyone praises you? That's not the fault of society, nor of external factors. It's the absence of discipline, integrity, and courage to change. It's hard to hear, but this is where the journey really begins. Japanese philosophy teaches that every decision is a cut of destiny. The samurai understood. Every time you outsource the blame, you lose hold of your own sword, the control of your strength. Daily decisions define not only what we do, but mainly who we become. And if you feel you're living only behind the scenes, always reacting instead of acting, perhaps it's time to rewrite your mentality. Build an internal truth so solid that no external obstacle has more power than you yourself. Japanese philosophy reveals with clarity, no one will cross this bridge for you. Taking authorship of your own story is stepping out of the victim's condition and building real impact in your own existence. Now, I want to go even deeper into this. There's an almost secret power in accepting that responsibility is yours. As long as you don't take that control, nothing in the world, no Japanese technique, no revolutionary method, will be enough to fill the void. Because the courage to change lives, first and foremost, in recognizing I can at any moment turn this key. Don't expect transformation to come from outside. The greatest revelations happen in silence, in your depths, when you accept discomfort to finally step out of inertia. Faced with this truth, fear becomes impulse, and each new decision can completely redesign your path. Comment here, I am responsible for my transformation. The new samurai philosophical path. When you reach the limit of what you tolerate, a unique opportunity arises to rebuild not just your habits, but your essence. The impact of making a true decision is so profound that it transforms not only the day, but the mentality that governs all future choices. And it's precisely at this point, in that moment of revelation, that Japanese philosophy enters the scene with all its strength, clarity, and wisdom. Behind every samurai victory existed something far greater than physical technique or imposing posture, a code of honor called Bushido, which served as a compass for any transformation. It wasn't the absence of pain that made these men unbreakable, but the constant presence of solid and universal principles capable of sustaining the mind even amid the greatest confusion and challenges. Behind the discipline and mental strength we admire so much, there is a hidden truth. The samurai path is not about perfection, but about virtue, honor, courage, loyalty, duty, and integrity. These values, distilled generation after generation, have crossed battles, personal crises, and historical transformations because they function as pillars for any real journey of change. It's this code that differentiates those who decide to take control of their own lives, those who choose to live according to deep convictions, not by what the world expects or by the impulse of the moment. Thinking about this awakens a sense of identity that, I assure you, can trigger unexpected revelations. There is no Japanese technique capable of replacing the power of a purpose grounded in these virtues. When you begin living by honor, each decision gains different weight. Courage no longer means absence of fear. It's the ability to act despite doubts. And this mentality changes everything, transforms the day, relationships, the way you deal with failures and achievements. Loyalty strengthens the journey, connects you to something greater than mere self-interest. Duty keeps discipline alive, even when your body wants to quit. Integrity, finally, is the invisible line that separates fragile agreements from unbreakable commitments. Japanese philosophy shows that these pillars are not abstract. They can be cultivated in every thought, every habit, every choice. Now, I want to go even deeper into this. Feel the weight of these words, reconsider the meaning of each value, and imagine the impact that genuinely adopting them can have on every aspect of your life. If there's a secret to unbreakable discipline, it lies in aligning behavior with virtues, purpose with decision. Comment, my code is my strength. Emotional proof. There are moments in life when everything feels too heavy, as if each morning brings not only the day's responsibilities, but also the doubts accumulated from past choices. There is a hidden truth behind the scenes of those seeking transformation. Courage rarely comes before fear. It was the same for samurais, despite what the classic image makes us think. Let me tell you a story that reveals the impact of courageous decisions on an entire life journey. Imagine a young samurai named Daichi. His name means firm ground, but in his heart, he carried deep uncertainties. After a humiliating defeat, Daichi felt the weight of shame and began to believe he would never be worthy of the internal respect he sought. In that moment of crisis, when he could have given up, he chose to do the opposite. He dedicated a single year to courage. This wasn't bravado on a battlefield, but small daily decisions. Adjusted mentality, renewed purpose, discipline applied even in moments of discouragement. Every difficulty was faced using Japanese techniques: meditation, repetition of difficult tasks, writing commitments. Daichi learned to transform fear into action. And with each passing month, this strength expanded, rescuing self-respect and an identity that until then seemed to be lost. Japanese philosophy teaches that the greatest confrontations don't happen before an enemy, but in the silent conversations you have with yourself. That's why Daiichi's story is so similar to ours. It's about making mistakes, feeling shame, almost giving up, but deciding to continue and rebuild through solid virtues and conscious decisions. There was no magic, no shortcuts, just the behind the scenes of a real journey, with pain, revelations, internal adjustments, and a new way of seeing each obstacle. At the end of that cycle, Daichi was no longer the same man. He had reclaimed discipline, respect, and mental strength. And what made the difference were persistent decisions, always driven by the desire to change his own story with authenticity. Now, I want to go even deeper into this. The impact of this kind of transformation isn't limited to the samurai, but repeats itself in anyone who decides to act despite fear. Japanese techniques like meditation, daily reflection, and loyalty to your own purpose change the internal structure and make any journey meaningful. Your story can be marked by powerful revelations if you start seeing internal battles as part of the path, not the end. Comment: my courage transforms my story. Wisdom that touches the soul. There are concepts that cross generations because they carry genuine, almost indestructible force. When Japanese philosophy delves into themes like honor and discipline, something shifts in the perception of those who listen. These aren't empty words, but sentences that draw the outline of personality, define invisible boundaries between the superficial and the true. Behind the scenes of a transformation journey, powerful phrases serve almost as compasses. They help remember with each decision where the real value of our path comes from. Think about what it means to live by honor. Not the honor of being recognized by others, but the one only you feel when you know you acted according to your principles, even when no one is watching. Honor is a man's shield. This hidden truth holds power. It protects integrity, blocks empty impulses, strengthens the mentality amid chaos. When samurais meditated on what was essential, they recognized that discipline isn't about restricting desires, but about liberating the best that exists within oneself. Discipline is choosing who you want to be, every single day. There is no sustainable transformation without conscious choices, without the will to daily renew your commitments to yourself. Courage, contrary to what they say, is not a gift reserved for the few. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's acting even while trembling. This revelation changes the way we face internal blocks. You don't need to wait for security to move forward. Japanese techniques teach that boldness and self-control can be trained like muscles, through small challenges, through controlled exposure to discomfort, through actively seeking revelations that lead to wiser decisions. The impact of adopting a courageous mentality is immense. It opens doors to new experiences, expands personal horizons, strengthens your trajectory. The wisdom of Bushido, this code that runs through the layers of Japanese culture, continues to inspire those seeking authenticity because it highlights lasting values, those that sustain a full life even in the most difficult moments. Today everything seems to accelerate, but true strength lies in pausing and reviewing your own code, using phrases as anchors that help you weather internal storms. Now I want to go even deeper into this. Reflect. How have honor, discipline, and courage been lived behind the scenes of your personal story? Which choices can become pearls of wisdom lived? Practical application. Everything we've discussed so far, the principles, the virtues, the profound impact of decisions, only comes to life when you transform knowledge into movement. It's in your routine, behind the scenes of your day, that Japanese philosophy and samurai mentality reveal their true power. And as grand as all this may seem, transformation doesn't depend on epic gestures or radical changes. The secret lies in simple rituals, done with intention and consistency, capable of turning the key to a new cycle of discipline and inner strength. Imagine waking up and dedicating the first few minutes to something few value, honoring your own commitment. It's not about grand promises, but about starting small, creating a bridge between intention and action. Japanese techniques recommend starting your day with a clear ritual, taking a deep breath, aligning your posture, remembering your written purpose, your personal oath. It may seem simple, but the impact of this choice sets the tone for your entire daily journey. And when you reserve 3 minutes to meditate and find focus, you start to realize that discipline is not a Herculean effort, but the sum of small decisions that build a consistent story. Another powerful gesture, writing and reading daily your samurai oath. This hidden truth, present only in those who truly commit, serves as a constant reminder of the revelations that brought you here. Each word has meaning. Each line reinforces not only the desire for transformation, but the commitment to a robust mentality aligned with your own code. The result: your day already begins with clear direction, strong intention, and the certainty that you're training virtues of real impact. No excuses, no waiting for temporary motivation. You act because you want to respect your own journey. When these rituals become routine, small victories start appearing behind the scenes. More focus, emotional control, the ability to overcome barriers that once seemed impossible. Results don't come in avalanches, but in constant waves of self-building. Japanese philosophy teaches, discipline exists to strengthen man in the world, but whoever trains their own virtue changes everything around them. Allow this philosophy to shape your next step, and remember, whoever decides to turn the ordinary into the extraordinary is you, in the choices almost no one sees. Now I want to go even deeper into this. Reflect. What rituals can you adopt starting today to honor your story and transform your days into chapters of continuous evolution? Comment. My ritual is my daily commitment. Samurai identity, a new version of yourself. True transformation is a silent process, born far from the spotlight and happening behind the scenes of each decision. Throughout this journey, you realize that the winning mentality doesn't come from distant theories, but from the courage to build a new identity based on your own choices. Japanese philosophy teaches that being the man of your code is more than an ideal. It's a daily invitation to authenticity, to the hidden truth, of acting with honor, even when no one is watching. It's in this space of integrity where the deepest revelations happen, that discipline solidifies and becomes part of who you are. None of this means perfection. Truly strong men know that making mistakes, feeling fear or falling, is part of the journey of impact and evolution. But only those who refuse to rise with more conviction remain lost. Those who hand their decisions over to chance. Japanese techniques were created to forge not indestructible warriors, but resilient minds, capable of transforming pain into strength and insecurity into legitimate courage. Think about it. The code that governs your values isn't just yours. It inspires, influences, opens doors for others to awaken and begin their own journey of overcoming. Act with honor every single day. Begin with small attitudes, from kindness to your word, from respect for others to firmness with your own limits. Allow yourself to feel proud of the man you're becoming. Free yourself from comparison and focus on your own finish line, not others. Unbreakable discipline is the fruit of this silent consistency, this invisible commitment, and each decision aligned with your personal mission deepens the transformation even more, marks your trajectory with purpose, meaning, and legacy. Japanese philosophy, more than techniques, asks for genuine commitment to the journey of self-knowledge, celebrates discrete victories, and honors those who never give up on themselves. Now I want to go even deeper into this. Perhaps today you don't yet see the full impact of your changes, but keep going. Your path as a modern samurai is always construction. It has no ending point, and each step inspires others to see what strength exists in a new identity. Comment. I live the discipline of my own code. If you've made it this far, you're already part of this movement of transformation and discipline that Japanese philosophy inspires us with every day. If this content made sense to you, if at any moment the narrative provoked you to reflect or change some habit, subscribe to the channel to keep receiving videos that deepen this samurai mentality, always focusing on building a more honored, conscious, and truly impactful life. Leave a comment saying, "I lived until the end in search of my code, so I know you were present on this journey until the last minute and that these values are part of your process." Your like is important to strengthen our community. Value the content and show that this connection makes a difference. There's a video here to the side that complements this topic and deepens even more the practical application of samurai principles in daily life. Click and keep going with me there. Let's go together on this journey of continuous evolution.